Games, board games. We might be talking about board games and people, but I'm not gonna shout. Today, KCON, I guess, has come to an end, but it doesn't mean we'll see the last of our friends. Board games, it's what we're talking about. Board games, and I'm not gonna shout. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is. 10 a.m. is UK time. Time for Busy Beats and Board Game Bladder. And episode 794. I really need to sort out my plans for episode 800. I have got some guests, but I haven't actually started doing the scheduling. That's really not great. But, I'll set it up and hopefully people will forgive me for being last minute and still, talk at some point in the day. I'll let them come on when they want. It'll be a long stream. But yeah, we're going to chat for a while on Sunday, was my plan, about why games are worthwhile, so and how games can have an impact. Anyway, today talking about KCON Day 3, I thought maybe I'd have a bit of a chat with my friend Josie. So, other than KCON, I don't think there's been any real things. Shall Let's start off. Hello Josie.
Morning.
I feel like we should buck the trend and start off with a brilliant thing, with a little thing which is brilliant. I think that saying goodbye for me is a brilliant thing.
Oh, but it's sad.
But I would rather people say goodbye than just leave. I prefer to have, so Kel was like, hey, I just want to say goodbye to you, thank you for coming. And I much appreciate that. Like going and saying goodbye to Leanne, to Graham, to Zoe, to Scott.
Oh yeah, I'd rather say goodbye to people, but I still feel it's sad.
Oh yeah. But it's still kind of a nice thing to have that chance to say farewell.
Yeah.
It's a kind of.
It still makes me feel sad though.
Yeah, but wouldn't it make you feel even more sad if they just disappeared?
No.
So you would rather they just disappeared?
You don't have to feel the emotion because it's not there in front of you at that moment.
But then it's a lingering thing.
Is it? Or can you just put it in a box and forget about it because you don't have to look at it?
I mean, I was just coming up with a brilliant thing, but you're challenging the notion of whether it's brilliant at all. So.
Oh, well, no, but it could be brilliant for you. It doesn't have to be brilliant for me.
Okay, so for you, would you rather if people were at a party that you were hosting?
No, I'd rather they came and say goodbye.
You would rather
but like a wave from a distance, so it doesn't make me feel sad on the inside.
Okay, so just kind of.
Bye bye, Josie, I'm off. Yeah.
So you don't want to have a proper goodbye anymore with me?
Oh no, I'll have. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to show some photos of recent highlights, living life and seeing sights, recent highlights, playing games and other highlights.
Okay.
I thought I would show photos of KCON Day 3. So it started off with breakfast.
Yeah.
If I can get that actually on the screen so other people can see it. And this was my breakfast. Those are vegan sausages.
You did have a vegan sausage. Is it on there?
Not yet.
Okay.
Went and saw the frog clock. I think
That's a brilliant thing.
That was just charming. Yes, it is brilliant. Our frog's brilliant.
Frogs are brilliant, yes.
Yeah.
It was really whimsical. I really liked that.
And I think, most of the internet probably isn't going to see it. So I'm just going to say it's got like this mechanism, constant animation.
Yeah.
Like it's got this cycle that takes about 3 minutes for this ball to seemingly kind of be transported
There's a golden
from
ball
one side.
that transports, and it looks like a cross between some kind of steam engine, Shropshire wheel.
And then the ball comes from
like,
this ridiculous mechanism on the right.
Yeah.
And morning, Kelvin. Lovely people
Morning.
just streaming on the internet.
Just doing the live stream. If you want to join.
It kind of drops
There's
down.
always
It's
streams on a
super
Monday.
lovely.
On every day.
And
The internet.
so I think this clock was just wonderful.
Yes, I thought that was it was really whimsical.
Then I spent a long time preparing for my 2 p.m. event. I
Yeah.
wanted this to be super special.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure everyone knew about it. And
This was a really this one I think was my favourite.
mm,
Everybody really took part. Everybody was silly and daft. They got really super competitive. It was a really good 2 p.m. event.
yeah, and we start, like always, there's a little bit of improvisation, how exactly the events are going to run. But I think at least one person gets promoted, at least one person gets demoted.
Yeah, that worked nicely.
There's a bit of tension.
That could have been maybe more explicit in the instructions.
When we got there,
Yeah.
should I have said, at least one person will be demoted,
Yeah.
at least one person
Yeah.
will be promoted.
Yes.
Yeah, I should say those exact words.
Yeah.
You're right. It's all practice, because the first time I did that was at Tabletop Scotland, so this is my second time running it in this way. And I've got this video of the quarterfinal where people are grabbing cards. So this is when people were potentially getting.
Did you get a video of when Sam was pushing people out of the way to try and get more cards compared to everybody else?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that was a brilliant moment.
That
was super competitive.
I mean, I do appreciate that, although, like, there is a limit to how
Yes.
much. And
It was with their friend, and anyway, little Matt won anyway. Little Dave won. Matt.
Yes.
Little Dave won anyway. So yeah.
But do you think that the level of competition was kept friendly?
Yes.
Was it managed well?
Yeah, it was.
And I think this is a really important thing, because at Spiel, when was it? 2018, I think? Maybe 2019. No, it would have been 2018. Yeah, Spiel, one of them. I'd started giving away. No, yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
That's with the coloured
This
index.
is the
That's
finals.
the finals.
So this is the finals with all the coloured index. But at Spiel 2019, what I'd done for a while, 2 p.m. event, you win all the games I've ever designed. And so
That
it
was
started
generous.
off with In a Bind and expansions and In a Bind Junior. And it was, okay, you get those, plus you get the Yogi and Yogi Guru. Why not? And then there was like, yeah, and you get the L deck, and you get the L deck deluxe, and you get Kitty Cataclysm, and so it was like so much. That was basically 100 quid's worth of stuff.
Wow.
And like, it was a big pile.
That's super
And
generous.
then, so there was someone who came over on Saturday at Spiel and thought, I really want to win. And then they came back on Sunday, they were super determined to win. And then at the finals, you could see, like, it was categorical. And you could see it wasn't anything they actually did, but just their entire attitude.
It was different.
It wasn't good.
No.
I think that because I had this amazing prize for first place and nothing for second place, that wasn't good times. So I've tried to flatten it.
Yeah,
Everyone
and I don't think
comes.
they need all of your games anyway.
No, they
I
don't.
think being able to
Especially not now.
select a couple of games is nice, because then
Yeah.
it's ones they maybe don't have, or ones they maybe want to give to their friends or something.
I mean, like, I was unsure about giving away the thing that they've just played, because in a sense they would probably buy that anyway. But I think that it's nice
we didn't have the stall at the 2 p.m.
Yeah, but
event, so,
even if we did, I think it's really nice to just say, hey, here's something, you enjoyed it, and you'll then play it with your friends. And that feels like more long-term market. It feels like a marketing expense worthwhile.
Yeah.
Because if, let's say, half of the people would have bought it, I would almost, even if that's the case, I would almost rather for, let's say, the top 4 people, if there's 12 people, I would almost rather to give all of them the game, and then they're all like, yeah, I got this thing, I worked hard for it, and
then they're going to tell their friends about it. Yes.
Yeah. Echidna Shuffle. Do you think that Eve was the best player at the table?
I think she was the most vocal. But I'm not sure. Was she the best? Was she?
I think
don't know.
she definitely noticed things as
I mean, she was very good at noticing how to make sure other people didn't win.
I mean, there was at least.
But then she didn't win, so So does that mean she was the best player or not the best
Because
player?
she did advise people against herself,
Yeah.
which was really interesting. It wasn't just, oh, do this, and I'm never going to tell you how to beat me. It was like, yeah, by the
Yeah,
way,
no, that's what I mean. So is that the best player, or is that just the person who sees all of the things?
Well,
How are we judging the play? How are we judging the best player? Is the best player the person who sees everything and wins and keeps it to themselves, or is the best player who sees all of the options but then is self-sacrificing?
for me, I think Eve was the best player. But the interesting thing is that Eve was very good. I think we can.
Oh, Eve was very good. Yeah, yeah, she could
And
see all
even
the.
Eve spotted stuff that I didn't. Like at the one point where I spotted something, it was, oh yeah, that is better. I felt quite proud of myself because Eve was very good at that game.
No, she was. She could see all the
And
patterns.
it's like a traffic jam. It's basically got all the frustration of a traffic jam.
But with very, very cute echidnas.
Do you think that's a fair description?
Yeah, yeah. Is they're very, very cute echidnas, so you don't get angry at being stuck in a traffic jam.
And you've got to get your pawn to the end. It's meant to take 10 to 20 minutes. I think that for kids that's
Do you think
playing
it's 10 to
randomly.
20 minutes per person, and that's why it proportionally went up as we played?
I can believe 10 to 20 minutes per person actually. That would make perfect sense. Because Dave against me, it was 30 minutes.
I'm going to say it's 10 to 20 minutes per person then, and then when I play in the future, I'm going to expect if I got 6 people, I'm going to be there for quite some time.
Yeah, but I do think that both the speed up variants works well, but let's get to them in a moment.
So our game lasted over 2 hours, basically. That's what we're saying.
It lasted
we played with 5
basically
of us.
2 hours.
It was just over 2 hours.
I'm not sure.
No, it was.
Okay.
It really was. I kept
Okay.
an eye on the time, so I was like, oh my god. But it was good. It was. I mean, even in 2 hours, it was. I was still having fun, and I was concentrating on the game the whole time. It's not like I was like all on board or anything.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed Echidna Shuffle.
Yeah.
I would absolutely play this again.
Yes.
Well,
I
did.
own it. I now own it.
I
So
played it 2 more times, and I would absolutely play the other side.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that. We played Questabell. What did you think of Questabell?
Oh, I enjoyed Questabell. Yeah,
But
yeah.
you felt a bit tired at the end?
Yeah, I was really tired. It was the end of the day, and I'm not a lover of word games generally. So I play them and I will participate in them and whatever, but they're just not my favourite genre. So
yeah.
I can't say,
That's
it's
okay.
my favourite game. No, I can't go, yeah, I love it. But it was a good game. It was well thought out, and the level of difficulty was going up incrementally, which did keep you interested. Because I think if you were doing
But
the same
you don't
thing,
think it was going up too fast?
no, I don't think it was going up too fast. I mean, it was making it more difficult. I mean, removing the E's and the S's. When we got to that point, that was like, oh, every single word I'm thinking of has an E in or an S in or whatever, and then you're trying to think of other words.
I mean,
not every word, but
I do really like the removal of letters as an idea.
Yeah, no, so do I.
And just kind of saying,
It makes your brain think differently.
And it pushes you to think of words that you would like. For people who do like word games, like quite often it's just, okay, I'm thinking of words either with the availability of what's here or with the availability of what's likely to come. And you know that there's going to be more T's and D's and I's and N's, O's and whatnot. So you end up making similar words. So part of the interesting challenge of designing a word game is how can you push people to think of different words?
Yeah.
And so I think removing some subsets. And I'm not sure that going for E's and S's at that point was necessarily the right design decision. It might be like, remove the N's and S's. I don't know.
Or maybe just remove one, and the S or the E, and then the next time you remove a second letter. So you go slightly harder and then extra harder, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Rather than removing 2 straight off, just remove one of them.
Maybe. I mean, removing another consonant. I mean, S's are so overpowered because you can pluralize anything. Yeah. But basically, other than that, any other consonant is not as good as a vowel.
No, I think it needs to be vowels. So S's and something.
But, I mean, an S and another consonant would work, and then maybe swapping, them in for, I don't know. But we played Similo, which you enjoyed. Yep. This is Similo, and for those who don't know, you've got a grid of 12 things, and you're trying to guide people towards guessing a target by showing things that it's similar to or not similar to. You talked about the escalation of tension. I really agree with that. First round, the people who aren't giving the clues, who don't know the information, get rid of 1, then they get rid of 2, then 3, then 4, and then finally only 2 things remain.
and which
you
are often really similar.
but
you
at that
quite
point,
often-
hopefully,
Yeah, you hope, but
you-
sometimes there is.
Mm.
It depends on if the clue giver's got great cards in their hand where they can really show you. No, it's definitely this one. If you're at that point where you're kind of going, okay, they've both got space themes. They're both really blue. They're both whatever. I don't have anything particular. What could we maybe pick out from this? Sometimes you get to that point where you're like, okay, as the clue giver, you're like, I've got nothing. I'm just going to have to.
I
Yeah.
think it does really reward you if you talk a lot.
Yes.
Because if you,
Not the
it's-
clue giver. The
Yeah, obviously. The people who are studying the things, if they don't talk and vocalize what they're thinking,
Yeah.
the clue giver has no idea.
No, you need to listen, and you need to listen in. Yeah.
Yes. I think that's the way.
It's a fun game. I think it's a really fun game. And you've lent me your copy of this version. I'm going to try and play this version.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about what this version
Oh,
is.
yeah,
What is this version all about?
So this version is from Essen, wasn't it? So
Spiel 2022.
So you've it's all
2 weeks ago.
It's all got cards that are based on games that were released there. So it's a very specific subset of games. It's not even just board games generically. It's just a subset of board games
That were
from
released
one
at-
event.
And that's
One
the thing,
year.
like as a promo pack, it's really cool that they can do this.
Yeah, I think
And
that's a
I
lovely
think that
idea.
I could absolutely see them doing things for like KCON and
I think it's a
Spiel
great. I
23.
think that's a
and
lovely
I
idea.
think that if I go to Spiel 23 and I saw something like that, I would want to get
Yeah, I
that.
think it's nice. It's a nice idea. It's a nice memory, and you might have walked around and
Yeah.
seen some of these games. I mean, you were like, I played that game, so it actually does like evoke things. But yeah, it's quite
And I did-
specific.
I didn't get into my memory of how that demo went, but
No, you didn't.
I'm not going to get into
No,
it right
okay.
now. I already have its long story, but we enjoyed Similo. We
Yeah.
played it with Tom, and I think that's a lovely thing again about meeting people, people coming over.
It was a nice, simple, quick game. You don't need to know the people you're playing with as
Mm.
well, so it's a nice starter
Like
game.
even though
for
you need to
people you don't-
vocalize
yeah.
things, because we ended up playing it 6 times, right?
Yes, yeah, we did.
I mean, wow. I thought we were going to play something else potentially, like
But then
these
two
longer
more, yeah,
games.
then 2 more people came and joined us, so we ended up with 7 of us.
Well, no, actually, I was meaning then we joined Kelvin and Mel. And
Yeah, we joined Kelvin and Mel.
Kelvin.
They're outside.
Are
They
they?
were, well, they were. I don't know. It might have gone again.
Lovely people.
They're really nice people.
And yeah, then Pippa and Carl, like friends,
Yeah, they
came
came
over.
and joined. So we
And
looked
I
for-
wasn't sure if I wanted to play
No.
7-player Bonanza because
But you talked yourself into it.
I did,
Yeah.
and I did have a good time.
Yeah. And it was nice playing with everybody. I don't like it sometimes when there are 7 people and some of them really want to play a game, but then you split into 2 groups and actually they feel left out or they don't want to. So it's nice to be able to have a game where you can
And
get everybody.
this is my.
Oh, that's a nice photo. You can send me that. I like that photo.
I will, or you can download it. I'll
You can just WhatsApp it to me.
I'll send you all the photos.
Yeah.
So this is all the people that's from left to right. That's Dave Weatherall, who was running lots of their own games. Pippa, my friend. Josie, my lovely friends here. Kelvin, new friends.
Wow.
Carl. I didn't know them that well.
What, Carl and Pippa? Or?
No, Carl.
Oh.
Pippa has worked with me.
Okay,
Demos
so it's just
understands
Carl.
quite a bit. Carl, I'd seen Carl a lot, but we'd never sat down for a proper chat or played a game together. I think that's a trading game is really good
Yes,
to get
because
to know
you get
people.
to know people, yeah.
And
It's a
we-
bit like Similo because you have to talk. So yeah.
yeah,
it helps.
exactly. And there's Mel, who's just super lovely.
Yeah, everybody was lovely. Everybody there.
And I think that for me, no, can I make it?
Yeah.
Nah, let's just get rid of that for a moment. I think that for me, I wouldn't have. There's some games I'm happier to play when it's like, okay, nothing much is going on.
Yep.
Like in the middle of the day, I would not have been happy playing that
No.
because there's so much else going
No.
on. I would have wanted to be, oh, but I'm missing that and that and that. I want to play these quick, like 20-minute games at most. You know me, but like.
No, that
then-
was nice to end the day with. That was lovely.
Well, for you to.
Oh yeah. Well, no, yeah, no. But we then went play. I played another one after that, and then I ended my day.
Yeah, and like this was a nice one to end the day with. for you,
Yeah.
Sequoia,
It
where
was 1 a.m. Bez.
it was fair. Yes, it was late. I agree. It was getting onto one. Dice rolling, picking pairs. These pairs determine where your markers go onto cards number 2 to 12. And so obviously the 2 is harder to get
Yes.
onto than the 12. I rolled a 12 once in that game. Like I rolled 2 6s at once in that game, if you know what I mean.
All right. Okay.
So I didn't have any chance on that 12.
No, I did it twice.
But there's a good amount of luck, honestly.
It's a nice game.
If I was more awake, I would always be annoyed by the luck. But
I'm
if
just going to point out to anybody watching this: please don't play this game. The game designers, they take too long to make decisions.
You're having a wee dig, aren't you?
We dig at you and Dave, yes. You both were umming and ahhing about your dice decisions far too much. It could have been much quicker if you were just like, oh, I can make that pair. Yeah, then I'm good. I'm going to go there. You're both like trying to work out probability and different things in your heads, and I could see you both doing it, and I still beat you both. So like, don't play game designers.
It's like the story of Dave and the statisticians and Camelot,
yeah.
where he says, okay, well, this has got 80% chance of winning, and then they get to, but this had no chance, and Dave says, but it's all random.
It's just a dice roll.
And you allowed me to take your copy of Echidna Shuffle and keep on going.
It was 1 a.m, people. I was not playing another game. I was going to bed. Yes.
I would be interested to play this 3 players. So we played this.
You're going to a big loop.
So there's a story about this. So this was actually the second game.
Yeah.
So the first game we played rules as written.
Yeah.
With the first 3 variants.
Okay.
So the first time we played, we kind of just put these things wherever, like all the markers. We didn't really think about all.
No, but we didn't know the rules.
Exactly.
The first time
It was good, but it was still good times. But then, and here, in our game, I think honestly, what the other people did made a lot more difference than where we personally placed. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so, but with a 2-player game, because you really see the strategy coming out, a quarter of the way through the first game, I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to lose. And I did lose, not just because I'd given up, but because my placement was objectively worse than Dave's.
Right.
And I made a bad choice. Dave played better. And then we were chatting for like maybe 10 minutes about the potential strategy and the values of where to go on the board for your starting places. And then we decided that the middle 3 bits is definitely the best. And then the second ring is probably the worst at different degrees of worst. And then the outer ring is probably sort of in the middle.
Uh-huh.
But, and so we said, let's try and take a bit even more of the luck out of it, because where the echidnas at the start are meant to be randomly assigned.
Yes.
But that means that potentially only one person might be able to go onto a really good spot, and the other person only has the terrible spots, which doesn't seem great. And so what we
did
said.
You start with everybody out on the outside ring?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so we wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah.
So then you see basically what it was like after the first move.
Yeah.
Where Dave's yellow.
Breakaway Echidna. Yeah.
And this was it, like halfway through, where all of them were clustered down, and Dave had, and the 3 variants that we played, one of them is second player gets a bonus move tile just to offset the advantage of going first. Because if you go first, you do potentially get one more turn. The other twist is that even if you don't have all your bits of wood on the board, you're still allowed to keep putting bugs on. So you get extra bugs. So that would have meant that we had extra bugs to potentially get rid of. And
so even though you've already removed a bug or whatever, you can bring more bugs out.
Yeah, so you always have 3 bugs or 2 in a 5 or 6 player. And so you've always got ideally multiple options to get them to the end. So people are only going to be able to stop them for so long.
Yeah.
The third option, which...
That does make sense, because it was getting frustrating when you had just 1 bug left and it just kept on getting moved.
And then the third thing that never actually came into it, which I think is a smaller impact, But when you're on the home stretch, which means you only have one thing left to fill, whenever someone moves an echidna that has your bug on it, then you get a movement token, and these movement tokens, you just spend them to get one extra movement whenever you want.
Oh,
Up to a
okay.
maximum of 4. You can't have more than 4.
Okay.
But that means that, okay,
Oh,
you
I can see. Like the
got rid
game,
of me
yeah,
this
the
way.
game when we played, all of us, that could really have
Yeah.
helped people because
then if you've got
everybody was
plus
moving
4,
and
that
like
plus
Dave out
4
of the way or
will be
whatever.
able to get you in there,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Or at least get you off a loop where people keep on
Mm.
sending you back.
And so I think that with those, I would definitely always play with those 3 variants. I don't like the 4th variant, which is basically extra dice rolling.
But you don't particularly like dice rolls.
No, but I could see it working well for kids. It feels like the 4th variant is more for kids and people who like luck, and the 1st variant is for people who like fairness, and then the middle 2 are for people who like the game to finish faster. But yeah, I would
speed.
absolutely play that again.
Yep.
I would honestly play it again right now.
Yeah, no, it's a good game.
Would you play it again?
Yeah, of course I could play it.
Today?
Yeah, before I go. Yeah.
Amazing.
I think we need to check out, but yeah.
Oh,
we need to draw together.
Yes, we did play Drawn Together. Don't tell people on the internet what you think this looks like. I will ask you afterwards.
Okay, yeah, I have no idea what that looks like at the moment. What were you playing?
This was Fish or Car, and we asked 3 security guards. I do want to say, as you can see by the background, it was very dark at this point. They had literally turned out all the lights.
Can I see? Have you got a picture of the? Have you got a
I'll
photo of
show
the
you
picture?
afterwards.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'll
I
show
want
you the physical
to
thing.
make a decision before you say anything about it.
Don't.
I won't say it out loud. It's just me trying to.
I'm not
figure
saying
out.
anything more because I don't want to influence the internet because I'll put it up on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
And that was my day. And I think hello, Bones says sick burn. I think, oh, sorry, that was a few minutes ago. I think that was telling us that we were playing too slowly. Sorry, Bones, that I didn't see that comment earlier. But yeah, sick burn. So that's respect for you, Josie.
Thanks.
Yeah, so that was our day. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about for yesterday?
Oh, I also played Danger Zone yesterday.
Danger Zone. Oh, that's Andrew Harmon's game.
Yes.
Based around Thunderbirds.
Yes.
And do you want to describe it, or shall I?
You can if you want, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I played it.
It's cooperative. You're placing numbers in, and then there's one person who's what's that? Jeff, like the main person in Thunderbirds, apparently.
I think is that the dad, Jeff, and
No,
then all of the others are the
It
sons.
might be. I'm not sure. Like there's.
Or is he the eldest son or something? I don't know. Anyway, but he's he's the
it's some
commander.
weird
He's the commander,
puppets
Yeah.
show. Let's get rid of this.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, people are putting in numbers, and then Jeff is allowed to swap one of these for one of the cards in their hand.
So basically,
so you want to, but there's like 4 different values on each card, and so you want to
about
use
4 or 5,
one of the things that you've got more variety for, and so okay, that one I think you'll be able to go for. There's a little bit of thinking, okay, what will the other person go for?
Yeah.
And Alan Paul said that, interestingly, they could see parallels between that and the game about stuffing balloons as a team without talking, but it's cards that are no actual balloons.
Yeah, I can see that.
And there are a couple of expansions that I've not played with.
It's it's quite a nice little game. I think if you like Thunderbirds and you've got memories of Thunderbirds and the whole puppet thing. Yeah, then and a bit of Parker and Lady Penelope and whatever they've got all the characters are in there. So actually, it does bring back kind of childhood memories of.
Isn't Lady Penelope the same name as the character from Wacky Races?
No, isn't that the Pink Lady? Or is it Lady Penelope in there too? It could be Lady. But anyway, Lady Penelope in this has Parker. And you've got Brains and.
Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it could just. Did 2 teams of writers decide that Penelope was a really good name for a lady?
And they both drive pink cars.
Anyway.
But that's a nice game. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I played that with Mandy and with Eve as well. So
yeah,
that was a nice.
Lovely people.
Oh, they are.
And I think that what I didn't photograph was all the conversations, like with selves with Fabio, with Rich, like just standing at the frog clock, having a snippet of like a minute of conversation and chatting about how they met. Like I'd love to chat to Rich like properly more. something like this. And
They were lovely. They were
chatting
everybody has
to
been
Dave
lovely.
Salisbury at the
Yeah.
end. And honestly, I was very happy that Dave and Mandy were willing to keep chatting. And
I like Dave. Dave and I got into deep conversations about Star Trek and Doctor Who, so I was perfectly happy. Two of my favourite subjects.
And yeah, there's things about KCON 23 that I shouldn't be telling the internet just yet.
No.
But I was chatting to Mandy about and
Yeah.
getting general advice and also like
It's nice to
business
have
advice.
another opinion as well of things. I think it's good to get that third opinion and an outlook
Yeah.
someone who's not.
And since then, I was very much okay. What did you think? I'm trying to pull people's opinions off KCON. But overall, everyone really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and
Everyone
everybody's
said
lovely.
that's what everyone says.
Yeah.
And it is kind of true. People come. Do you think that people are generally going to be always lovely at a board games convention? Have you seen?
No, I mean you can get people who are really super competitive and a bit ego driven. And I've played.
When you say super competitive, I think of Sam.
Okay, yeah, but kind of not in a nice way. That kind of super competitive, but not with that gentle side. I think you can get people who can have a little hard
I mean,
side.
for sure, like Sam never actually barged anyone.
No.
Like it was just okay.
I'm gonna get all the cards.
Like, hey, is there any rule against this? I'm going to.
Yeah. I think that was just exuberance and excitement. I do think a collective of people influence everybody else. So if the majority are lovely and have got a chilled vibe and all those kind of things, they influence anybody else coming in to then behave in the same way as they are.
I think that,
and I think this KCON has been much more open to inviting other games to tables. It feels much more like you can just go and nosy at what people are doing, and they're much more willing to say, oh, actually we're only just starting, would you like to join? There's much more of that in comparison with all the other cons I've been to. I think Aircon has some of that, but it's not as much as KCON, and I think that's because KCON's smaller.
Some people said that yes, what I would like KCON to remain is not to get too big, because comparing, you've never seen Aircon when it's been less than 1,000.
No.
When I first went, it was 380, I think. So it wasn't too much bigger than this one. And it was all in basically one. I don't know if it was even 300. Like, I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But it was literally 2 rooms.
Yeah.
One room was probably twice the size of this room we're currently in.
Yeah.
And basically a quarter of a football pitch.
Yeah.
And then the other room, like obviously there were loos, I'm not counting them, but the other room was like a events room, and it was like for 50 people could sit there.
Yeah.
And then that's where I did Giants in the Bind for the first time, and it was like giant cards.
So I'm assuming as it's got bigger, the energy of the con has changed slightly, as in.
Yeah, and also when you can literally see.
But I'm not saying Aircon's bad, because Aircon.
No, Aircon is
fabulous.
wonderful.
Yeah, it was a really great con. It's just that this one, I think, because it's so much smaller,
it's like,
has
what
much
do you
more
want
of a family
to do?
feel.
It's that question of like the gathering of friends.
Yeah.
Where now Alan, designer of Alan Moon, Ticket to Ride.
You're doing your thing. Makes me laugh every time.
So Alan Moon does this gathering of friends, and they can't play with everyone now. That's it's 400 people, and that, I mean, I think I could probably play meaningfully with 100 people or so over a weekend.
Yeah.
I reckon that's.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's doable. Where you have a natural conversation with those people as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's all you're doing though, is playing with people, not also running a stall.
If you're running a stall, then no. But if I'm running 2 p.m. events, then yes, I could still do that.
Yeah, possibly.
If I'm running a convention, I reckon I could probably have a nice quick chat with. It would be like a. I mean, 30 seconds.
I think you have a quick. When I've seen you, when it's at UK Games Expo, you have conversations with well over 100 people. well over.
It
100
doesn't
people.
feel like meaningful conversations.
But you do have conversations,
Yeah.
and you will remember facts about those people because I've seen you do it.
I mean, my memory is stretched thin. I'm not going to lie, but yeah, it is lovely, and I think that yeah, there's a limit to how many people can be here. I wonder what steps in the organization have led to it being so friendly. I feel like
I think it's the size, and I think it is just generally the people. So if
do
it
you think
started,
it's also to do with it being people sleeping on site? Because when I've
Yeah.
been to FriendlyCon, with all due respect, that didn't feel as friendly because I think that
it's not as friendly con.
no, it sounds harsh because I think part of the fact is when it's been over 3 days,
Yeah.
and then people are like, you know what, this is the wee hours, and you get that time with um, Mel and Kel,
Yeah.
and then you get that time with there's just a few groups here and
And
we're
it's because
chatting,
they're still here as well, because they're
and
sleeping
we
on
get that
site.
time with I saw you and I saw you yesterday and I've still not spoken to you. Let me speak to you now.
Yeah.
You get that repeated exposure.
Yeah, and I
that
think
breaks
because
down
you are on
barriers.
site, yes, I think it's better because not everybody's disappearing. So you can stay up later. I was discussing that with Mark because we were discussing about where you stay for things like UK Games Expo will give you a completely different experience of the expos. Like if you're off site and you've got to travel in, and how long does that travel take? Well, then actually you're not going to stay on site for as late as other people, and other people who are staying on site and then can stay late gaming have a completely different experience of the expo to you. So we were just discussing those differences this morning, and it's
What's interestingly then I get like this kind of we're a little group at
Yeah.
UK Games Expo in our little dorms, which
Yeah.
is quite interesting.
well, yeah, but that's a whole other different experience. But yeah.
But so we talked about KCON. What would you say are your top things? Anything that you think should be replicated, kept as same, never changed?
I like
Always,
the fact that I would have no more people selling than there are now. So maybe a maximum of 5, possibly 6 vendors, and that'd be that, because it shouldn't be about buying and stuff. It's nice to see what there is, and it's nice for there to be the option to buy things, but I don't think it should be about purchasing things for here.
Agreed.
I think a more central point for the raffle, we were discussing that yesterday, that got hidden.
Like, because either on a stage in the main room or maybe in the foyer.
Or in the foyer, but yeah, so I was going to buy raffle tickets. I didn't, because I saw the raffle day one when we got here, and then I completely forgot about it because it just wasn't in my awareness. I wasn't passing it, I wasn't seeing it. So I'd completely forgotten about getting tickets, and it wasn't until when it was being drawn, I was like, oh yeah, I was going to get tickets for that, wasn't I? So, it can't just be me who did that. There will be other people who did that.
Yes.
So yeah, I think in the central point, and even if it is in the lobby when you first arrive, because you are greeted when you first arrive, so it being there as a visual point, and you have to walk past the foyer to get to and through things. So I think that would be a better place. A better map, definitely a better map with what is in what room. And then if you've got a schedule of what's going on in those rooms, so like there was a role-playing room, so actually what time will the role-playing stuff be, so you can see that in advance as well and think, all right, I want to get into a board game, I'm going to go do some, I'm going to go do whatever at this time.
I mean, it was interesting because 2 people last night suggested that there shouldn't be any more RPGs. They said, okay, we've got this, we've got that, no more, because otherwise that takes people away. But I do think that I'm leaning towards the yes, let's have more.
Well, I think it was about knowing where it was. So I think Dan was Dan. Yeah, Dan.
It was Kel who mentioned that.
No, Dan, who ran the RPGs.
Oh yeah.
I think he didn't get anybody sign up on the Friday for anything.
Okay.
So actually, but I didn't know there was the option, So
you might have gone on Friday.
So I might have gone on Friday. So, but it's knowing, and there being a little schedule.
Things being bookable, and I think we talked maybe while you were distracted from us this morning that having a little physical sign-up sheet, like just pre-printing some grids, and then on the days, like saying, okay, this is what's happening. So you could even have surprise RPGs,
Yeah.
like saying, okay, this is the RPG, this is the people, and if we need more RPGs,
Yeah.
we'll kind of call in more ringer RPG.
Yeah, and maybe even I know, like you were saying, having a stage area or whatever.
Yeah.
But having someone who makes an announcement going, right, in 15 minutes the next RPG starting, and
Yeah.
just going around the rooms to tell people that that's happening as well.
Yeah.
Because I think you don't.
Although I don't think you want to tell people that for everything, but I do think that's a quick announcement. I was the only person doing that, I think,
Yeah.
for my 2 p.m. events. And I think people were like, okay, that's theirs, it's fine, it's once a day. But if it had been once every hour,
I don't want it once every hour, but I think if you're doing something like if you're only running RPG at, I don't know, 7 p.m. or something, then go and say we're running RPG at 7 p.m. Blood on
Yeah.
the Clock Tower, for example, wouldn't need it because they were running that every hour.
yes.
So I think there's a, it's about making that decision. If it's a one-off event, fair enough. But if it's something that's running all the time throughout the day, then no, I wouldn't announce it.
But then if there was, let's say hypothetically, if like there were a whole bunch of guest designers and like they were all doing things, and they were 2 hours each, and they were running their game, and it's like, okay, now Frank West is doing Dialogue Cats. Now Alan Paul is doing like running through GMing a 10-minute war game.
Yeah.
Now this those are all cool things.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be announcing them if there's all these.
But if you've got an event that is game designers going through things every couple of hours, no,
thank you very much.
I don't think you need that's like a set event that's happening throughout the day. So again, I know it's a different designer, but it's like the game designer's
you kind
room.
of want to have maybe limit it to 3 announcements a day, something like that.
Yeah.
Like 4. Maybe.
And the same with the raffle. If you'd had a stage area, people would go, right, it's your last chance to buy raffle tickets. We're going to pull the raffle in the next 30 minutes. And then that would have just given people that chance again to go, oh, yeah, I've forgotten about that.
But, it sounds like ultimately we both enjoyed it.
Oh, no, it's a fab event.
I just want to say thank you so much for being here, Josie.
You
it was a delight to have you. For me, I mean, let's be honest. Was it good as a business? I don't know. Do you think it was good as a business?
I don't think you made lots of money, but your profile is still up there. I think everybody is aware you exist, and
I mean, it's the last time. Yeah, we did, and I think that there were enough people who said, "Oh, interesting," and it was nice to have those extended conversations, and we did get more people each day for the 2 p.m. event.
Yeah.
Like at least one person was, oh, that was really fun. I'll now come back to it tomorrow because it was so fun.
Yeah.
And now they're excited to come to the 2 p.m. events at KCON,
which
is really
that's
lovely.
Nice.
And so it is weird how you can potentially grade price and determine the value of this marketing, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was beautiful.
That was a lovely event.
And as a business, can I justify it? I'm not 100% sure, but I really enjoyed being here. And given how long I'm going to be in UK, I'm not going to. I'll be here next year for sure, and I might talk more about that in another stream in a while when I can.
Yeah.
Mm.
If she's not kidnapped. There is a cunning plan.
No, that's a joke. Question of the day. Here's the question before we go on our way. Question of the day.
If you were to be kidnapped, what's the bare minimum things you would need to keep you happy?
No, I don't think I'd be happy without freedom.
Yeah, I think I'd be the same. I don't know.
Oh, honestly, I would be happy with an illusion of freedom. Like if it was.
That's what we already have.
Yeah.
That's society, isn't it? We have an illusion of freedom. We don't really have freedom. That's a whole different topic. Let's not get into that.
I was also meaning like something like the Matrix. I mean, if you don't know that,
if you don't know it, yes, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that's I'm saying there's nothing that would make me happy if I knew that I was being captured.
Yeah, I think maybe if you know. So we need to make sure you don't know you're captured.
And put me into the matrix.
Yeah, put you into the matrix somehow. Okay.
Over to you. What are you up to? You can share what's if you want to. I'm going to pack my bags. I've got all my stuff in the room.
Yeah, we need to check out.
And yeah, we need to do that within an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then you're up for a game of Echidna Shuffle.
Yes, we do Echidna Shuffle.
And then I think we both have to skedaddle.
Yeah. I need to buy some cheap petrol on the way. I need to look up where's the cheapest place for petrol in Norton Keynes.
And then, yeah, tonight, do I have the energy to go dancing potentially tonight? I'm not sure I do.
I think we were playing D&D tonight, but one of my members has got COVID, so I think we're going to play Hero Quest tonight.
Okay. Well, recap and wrap up before we finish up. Frog Clock was good. It was, charming.
I like the frog. The frog clock was whimsical.
Josie isn't a big fan of goodbyes, but say goodbye from a distance. I like those goodbye hugs. I like those goodbye hugs.
I do. I just think they're sad. That's all. It's a sad thing. I didn't say they're bad. Just they're sad.
But what would you prefer? Goodbye hug or just wave from afar?
Probably a goodbye hug, really.
And it was a lovely convention, played lots of games. If you want to check me out, I am Stuffed by Bez in all the places. stuffedbybez.com/streams. Oh yeah, Wednesday, Jess isn't here. I'll have to decide.
No, Jess.
No Jess. I'll have to decide what I'm chatting about. What am I chatting about tomorrow? I can't. Oh, I don't have any plans. You know what? I might be talking more about one of the games that I'm running on my Kickstarter. And if you haven't checked out my Kickstarter, then please do. Here is the little link. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Josie, for being lovely and being part of my life. And for now, all I'm going to say is bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. Now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is the goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye-bye.
Press the end button.